When Kronos became king, a prophecy was made that he would be overthrown by his own son. This prophecy was fulfilled by his youngest, Zeus. After a war lasting 10 years, the Titans were banished to the depths of Tartarus, and Zeus sat on the throne of Olympus, his brothers and sisters by his side. The gods revelled in their new kingdom, ruling over the mortals that lived in Elysium, a kingdom named so as to be a paradise for all those who lived there. And for a time, all was well. But gods are prideful beings, and soon began to bicker and argue amongst themselves, turning a blind eye to the realm of mortals. Zeus saw this, and saw how the mortals had also begun to fight one another in the absence of the gods' presence. A mighty thunderstorm swelled around Olympus as Zeus made a decree. The gods would no longer remain idle, but instead be sent unto Elysium, where they would be given a city to rule as they saw fit. Only Zeus would remain on Olympus, to ensure that his laws were upheld. Unhappy with this order, but unwilling to incur their father's wrath and risk being felled by his thunderbolts, the gods made their way down to Elysium to live among the mortals. Each god moulded his or her city into their own image, whether that be the beautiful marble temples of Aphrodite or the towering spires of the arcane Hecate. The mortals rejoiced to be in the presence of the Olympians, and peace was restored again. No longer able to interfere with each other as before, the gods now use mortal champions to do their bidding. Through time, mortals have dedicated their lives into performing great deeds to gain the gods' favour, become their champion, and enter their names into legend. But peace can never last forever, and dire plots are brewing in Elysium. The war god Athena, as wise as she is beautiful, has gone missing. As tensions rise amongst the Olympians, other forces work quietly, and whispers are spreading that the reign of Olympus is coming to an end.
Hello, and welcome to How We Go Heroes, where the only difference between awful and awesome is a saving throw. As, we've seen.
Copyright.
TM. As we've seen from our past few episodes. Thanks for joining us, guys. We weren't here last week. I know we said to have something on every week, but I got ill. The only time we won't have something on is when the guy that has all the tech can't do it, and that's me. From sorting out tech to the stream, I'm pretty sure I am definitely the only one that has the tech to do it at the moment, sadly. Poor Jim and his potato top. You could run OBS, right?
Yeah, why not? Let's have a go.
That's when everything's on fire. But yeah, thanks for joining.
If it knocks out the entire power industry.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't care. I'm not there anymore. Thanks for joining us, guys. I don't think I have any announcements. Just, if you can, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. We will be back to a weekly thing as much as we possibly can. We're going to stick to that as long as we have people. We're going to stick to do something every week. So there will be content. There's also content pretty much every Friday as well, with our D&D and T game, which is a more like real play, everyone at a table, talking to each other and playing the game in the old-fashioned way, as we do it like new age, fucking techno. Yeah, let's get on with the show, shall we? See you in a minute. Hello again. Okay, so last time we joined our heroes, they were in Attica? Lagina? I made the world. How do I get that mixed up? Lagina. They were fighting spirits that had emerged from a well at the centre of Lagina that led all the way down to the Greek underworld. these spirits came out in en masse, hordes upon hordes of them, spewing out like a volcanic eruption of sorts, possessing as many people as they could through the town that didn't resist, including, yes, our rogue and our barbarian, and one of Hecate's priestesses, the party had met before. You fought them off, you fought the spirits off, you fought each other off without having to kill them. You realised that Mercy's mace, Benedictus, an artifact given to her by her temple, actually had the power to absorb these spirits from the person's body without having to necessarily risk their lives. Mercy managed to do this after learning that at least one of the spirits wanted revenge on the god Artemis for something she'd done. Afterwards, through surveying the chaos that was left by the battle in the city of Lagina, you found just wreckage everywhere, bodies of friends that had been possessed and had to be dispatched, the place in ruins, temples desecrated to other spirits that had a thing against the gods possibly, or just wanted to cause carnage. After that night, you learned from Ness and Runt that the things possessing them had different motives themselves. Runt's seemed to just want to attack and was just full of rage and fight, whereas Ness's was scared and jealous of the living and wanted to fight in order to destroy any witnesses so that they could hide forever and not have to return to where they came from. So yeah, you learned a few things about that. You learned that the High Priestess of Hecate's temple was killed after being possessed and taking out the entire forecourt of the Great Library in Lagina, leaving Elpina in charge of the library and Lagina in Hecate's absence. You said some goodbyes, and you decided that you would head over to Attica, where Mercy is from, as they're adept at those of the dead, having Persephone as one of their patron goddesses. When Demeter doesn't look after Attica while Persephone is in the underworld, it's one of the places that deals in death and the underworld and may actually know something, so you decided to make your way there. So yes, as you guys are heading off and leaving Lagina, you see the well in the background finally sealed off, hopefully permanently, so no more spirits can escape, and you're left wondering how this has affected the world as a whole and on what scale. And that is where we last left off.
Didn't we decide we were going somewhere?
Yeah, you decided you were heading over to Attica, where Mercy is from, because they might be able to give more information on how to stop these things, what they want, if there's anything that needs more help, things like that.
Well, this should be fun.
You make your way there. As you make your way there, also thanks Dan for the sub. As you make your way there, it's going to be a few days' travel, as you may have seen in the intro. But I don't have a map to hand, so or do I?
Oh, God help us. Oh,
do I? Not that map. I mean, like map of the world map. Calm down. I'm not going to get you yet, or am I?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I know, right? They're all talking about, we won't need dice yet, or will you? Actually, yes, it's a few days' travel, so if one of you... It is a big main road, so there won't be much in terms of, survival checks. You were given supplies, what they had in Lagina before you left. They didn't have anything in the way of, potions or spell components, because they're going to need those, being ground zero from the attack, but they were able to supply you with rations. Sadly, they weren't able to supply you with a cart or horses or anything like that, as they're sparse as it is in Elysium. Pretty much only the Corinthians and those that are rich or powerful have horses. So you're making your way on foot. So if you guys making your way along there, if you wanted to set up camp on that first night and start making perception checks for me, and if you were setting up watches. If not, feel free to have a talk around the campfire that evening before you do so. So yeah, is there any discussions you guys wanted to have before bedding down for that first night's travel?
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say that I have to take the first watch, because that's worked out so well for us in the past.
Do you though, dear? Really?
I mean, there are enough of you now that you could always pair up for watches, or some of you could pair up for watches, and then one of you do it on your own if you think you're adept enough. You can organise that however you want. You don't even have to do watches if you feel safe and confident on the main road. It's up to you guys.
No, it's roll for watches.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes, but well, whoever wants to go, I don't mind.
So who is taking watch number 1? So Runt, is anyone taking the watch with Runt?
I will sit up with the barbarian.
Okay, so you two will sit up. Who is going to take second watch?
I'll take that one.
Okay, is anyone taking the watch with Kaya, or is Kaya doing it solo?
I'm happy to take it with her.
Okay, and that means Mercy, if you're okay, you're taking the last watch with just you and your thoughts.
I'm never alone, dear. You know that.
Rocking it Wednesday Addams style. Okay.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
We always are.
We always are. Yeah, okay, so
We
the
always
first
will
watch,
be.
you have Ness and Run. It's a quiet night. There's not much in terms of like cloud or storm, so you can, see the stars, and it's actually quite peaceful. Say what you've just come from, especially, and especially for you, Run, being away from the weird Lovecraftian logic and physics that was, being out in the open air does feel nice. And yeah, it's just the two of you awake under the stars. Is there anything you guys wanted to discuss while it was just the two of you? Since, you haven't really spoken. You haven't really talked to Ness because you briefly met, didn't know she existed, thought she was maybe a magical arrow. Then you went and found some Spartan buddies to drink with, and then you two attacked the rest of your party. So you haven't really had much time to interact, so if you wanted to, now would be a time to do so.
And it's nice to finally meet someone as hirsute as I am.
Yes. Maybe?
Out of curiosity, what are you? Because I've seen cats and I've seen centaurs, I've seen werewolves and all kinds of shit, but I've never seen anything like you.
I'm a tabaxi.
Right, what the hell is a tabaxus?
Me? And others like me?
You mean there are more of you?
I come from a whole city of my village and all of the village around us. We're all tabaxi.
Right, are they all as chirpy as you?
No. We have all things like you guys. We have people who fight and people who heal and people who just farm and hunt and make pots and pans and tents and houses.
I don't even know how to start processing any of that.
I mean,
I can't imagine a city full of kissies. It's just weird.
Yes, but you have cities, don't you? Of minotaurs?
No, we don't have cities of minotaurs.
Oh. So have you ever spent a lot of time around other minotaurs?
I try to avoid my kind wherever possible.
Oh, that is very sad. Why?
Besides, I'm not a minotaur. I'm a Spartan first.
Okay, I can understand. I am a wanderer first before I am a tabaxi.
And where have you been? I mean, you must be a fairly successful wanderer to survive.
I wander all over the place. I'm a bit cursed or blessed. We're not sure which, but some of us...
Wait. Did you say cursed?
Well, some of us, like me, So most of the people, the tabaxi who live in my villages, they are very content to stay at home. And they don't really want to leave or go very far. But some of us, like me, when we become adults, we get antsy, and we don't want to stay in one place for very long.
You know, we Spartans have a word for that too. It's lunacy.
Yes, see, I told you. Some people say it's a blessing, and some people say it's a curse.
So you don't have a home?
No. Well, yes, I have my home. She holds up a string with some what look like sort of maybe teenagers or children might have made some things that are attached to her necklace. These are all from my family. I contact them when I can. I have a home, but I just can't stay there very long, and I haven't been back for a long time.
Is it a big family?
Yes, I have 6 siblings.
6? I thought it was bad enough having 2.
I have 1 set of triplets.
Well, the hell are triplets?
Where you have 3 kids all at the same time.
What?
I'm pretty sure this is how the conversation goes on for a while longer.
Yeah, well, I'm liking it. I'll tell you when to stop.
When the creatures attack.
Shame him.
So 3. Yeah, so I have 3 siblings that are all the same age. Like, you know, when animals have multiple.
I don't know much about that. We farmed potatoes. We didn't deal with livestock.
You grow that big on potatoes?
Well, yeah, that and the tears of my mother.
That must have been an awful lot of potatoes.
Well, there are an awful lot of tears.
My mother used to yell at all of us and throw us all out of the house. And she made lots of weird noises inside, but I'm not quite sure what she was doing. She was either throwing things at the wall or laughing hysterically.
You know what? I'm starting to think the apple didn't fall too far from the tree.
Okay,
This is why I wander.
Okay, yeah, so your watch carries on like that. That's all I have to say about all of that interaction. If one of you wants to make a perception check at advantage for me.
23.
23. Okay, so yeah, the night goes by, like your watch goes by pretty unabated. Eventually, I imagine either you just keep talking until Runt falls asleep and then keep talking some more until you realise Runt's fallen asleep, or Runt very abruptly just goes, right, I'm going to bed. One of those.
At which
two.
point she continues talking.
Probably. So yeah, and the rest of your watch goes by fine. So yeah, you wake up Kaya and Nim and go to bed. And it is your the pair of yours.
I shall check we've got everything for the fire going. Have a quick wander around, and then settle down with my tail curled around me next to Kaya. Just watching.
You comfortable?
Yeah.
Everything seems fine.
Yeah, I don't trust fine.
It's not that. Runton watches don't necessarily go well. It's fine. I'm sure if anything would have happened, that we'd have been told or woken up.
True. So how did you come with these two strange...
Well, I was trying to find my muse, so went for a bit of a wander and found a really nice cave, well out of the way, and yeah, I was sort of like just practicing and writing and generally keeping out of the way, and then Mercy stumbled in. They were looking for somewhere to stay temporarily, but also they were looking for a cyclopsy type thing. Still can't remember. All I remember are the kids that weren't really kids, but they were kids. They got turned into something, and I almost killed one. Yeah. But yeah, I helped them, and then we went on our separate ways, and somehow I ended up over near Sparta when they arrived. So I figured, why not travel with people that you at least kind of know? And here I am.
Finding stories.
Finding stories. Finding inspiration. And somehow getting into the occasional bit of trouble, which is good.
Finding exciting stories.
Yeah, but either way, trouble can sometimes be good. It's where you find the trouble and the stories that tend to follow.
Also, one of the best ways of learning.
Yeah, I like a good book. It's not read any decent ones really.
She said book, by the way.
Yes, book. The other happened the other day.
Each to their own.
Yeah. But what about you? Why were you in Lagina?
The ship that I was last working on disbanded. So I was mainly looking for work.
Ah.
I've been a Marine for most of my life. I was found when I was 8, followed my first battle when I was 12. I lived a very violent life. Now I'm trying to find some other ways.
Well, I'm glad that you were there when things went a little bit wrong. Yeah, I'm very glad that you were there when that happened. So, whatever reason that you were there, both you and Nesdell. Yeah,
It seems we're there at the right time.
Yes. As if something was making certain that you were there to be of assistance. Whichever deity it is that you follow, I'm grateful to them to making certain that you were there when we needed you.
I often believe that we are always there for a purpose. I survived for a purpose. At some point I'll find it.
Yes. I used to believe that. Not so much at the moment. But things will become apparent at some point. That I'm certain.
True.
Okay. If one of you wants to make a perception check at advantage.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I've got night vision, so if it's
You
a bit
go for
dark outside.
You're also, a ranger, so you'd think that you're...
I should be relatively good at it. 18.
18? Yeah, that's fairly decent. So pretty much same as before, your night goes pretty smoothly. A little more solemnly than the last watch, but you get to speak to each other and get to know your travelling companions a little bit more without interruption or danger or anything like that. You wake up Mercy, and you both find sleep as easily as it comes nowadays. And that just leaves you, Mercy. Is there anything that you wanted to do while you had some alone time?
Nothing overly specific. I suppose I just want to double check Run's wounds. Just give him a quick glance over, make sure he's alright. I want to have a... Without being weird, I just wanted to sit and inspect our two new friends.
Okay.
just almost like a visual insight, just to try and gauge, like a visual gauge as to what in my own mind they...
Okay.
I know that's kind of a stupid thing to do, but it's like, it's something that I
feel free to make insight checks on each of them.
Okay, so for Nez, let me just double check something. Oh yes, I am proficient. Okay. So for Nez, it's a 22.
Fair.
And for Nim, we have a 21.
Okay, so fairly similar. Yeah, you think on what you've heard from your two new companions and what you've seen of them, and from the sounds of things, they come from far away geographically, but similar kind of backgrounds where they've been wandering around for a long time. They've been traveling a lot between them, but they're kind of two sides of the same coin, where Ness seems to still have that joy of adventuring and seeing the world and things like that, whereas Nim's probably seen the darker side of what happens. You kind of got those two parallels in the two tabaxis. Both of them, as far as you can tell, seem genuine. They've been quite open. You don't know if that's a race thing or it's just, they trust you enough, or they're just quite open. But yeah, they seem to, like I say, two parallels. But Ness is definitely more cheery, whereas Nim seems to be haunted almost.
Yeah, that's very true. The only other thing I would want to do is just quietly, just sort of spend some time just re-inspecting Benedict.
Yeah,
just to see if there's any subtle changes to its appearance, or if I have any general sort of just additional feeling given what's going on, whether I find myself in a different.
Yeah, I know you inspected it before with Nez quite comically, and when you inspect it again, there's nothing visually different about it. It seems as inert as it always is. The only personality, the one that either it has, or maybe you've kind of been with it for so long that you've almost Tom Hanks'd it a little bit. Who knows? Maybe don't go down that
Hello, Spalding.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe kind of a rabbit hole you don't want to go down, but it comforts you to have that kind of companionship with Benedictus, whether it's genuine or not. But yeah, physically nothing new.
That's fine. I'll just, as I'm inspecting everybody, I'll just casually chat to him as I normally do, so it's fine.
Yeah. If you want to make a perception
I shall make it roll then, shall I?
Yes, because it's just you.
Don't suck. Well, it's okay. It's a natural 2023.
Okay, so yeah, that doesn't suck. So you're up, and just as light comes over the horizon and dawn starts to break, you can hear it's odd. You can hear the turning and the clunking of what seems like a carriage or a few, but you don't hear any clip-clopping. You kind of hear a scraping almost, as it's dogs with nails on stone. Like they haven't had their claws trimmed.
Okay.
That clippy clopping kind of sound in the distance, and you can hear like a voice kind of leading on, just over like a nearby crest, but along the road, kind of in the opposite way from where you guys are, where you're heading, coming the opposite way on the main road.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to touch the tattoo at behind my ear where I got the tattoo from the firbolg.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than yelling at everybody, I'm going to just individually cast messages, starting with Kaya to wake up.
Yep. Yeah, you all wake up to a voice, to Mercy's voice in your head, which is
Both cats sit up going, what?
But you two definitely, like, you haven't used this on anybody, but at least the other two knew it was something you could do, whereas you guys just hear Mercy's voice suddenly in your head, and wait.
Still wakes up with a slight scream, though. No, I wasn't expecting that.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
So yes, so they're awake. What do you... Yeah, those of you that come around, you can kind of hear the click, 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 and the moving of a carriage getting closer. You maybe have like half a minute before they're in, before you'll be able to see them, and then them also see you.
I hide.
Guys, the phrase is your money or your life.
Your honey or your wife? Okay, sure.
Is there a place to hide?
Yeah, there's a few like outcropping rocks. It's quite arid landscape. It's central, but you could try and hide behind a rock.
I grab my bow and give myself a hide behind a rock.
Okay, feel free to roll for that.
I'm going to stand in the road.
Where is hide? Hide. 23?
Yeah, you guys are all kind of okay, so what we're gonna do... what the heck? And Nat is gone again.
I'm gonna go stand in the middle of the road.
Okay.
Might be able to hitchhike.
That's a little aggressive.
I want them to be able to see me. I don't want to hide and then surprise them and make them shit themselves.
You're nearly 8 foot tall, dear. They're going to see us.
Okay. As you're saying this, you do see...
Why not
over
sit around the fire, waiting?
Over the crest of the hill, along the road, comes... You see two of the weirdest creatures you've ever seen. And that goes for all of you. It looks almost like a giant chicken. Both of them. They've got long legs with 3 kind of claws, like birds, like really long legs. They must be around from tip of the beak to end of the foot. They may be about 8 feet, but they're like hunched over and have blue feathers and really short wings, almost like an ostrich, but not as fluffy, like actual feathers, not the fluffy ones. Very almost like turkey-like faces where there's a lot of skin showing, and curved, almost flattened beaks. And at the back they've just got the tiniest plumage of like blue feathers stretching out behind them, again, a bit like, more like a chicken than a turkey. And there's 2 of these things pulling almost a train of carriages that all have, you can see some of them have, they all seem around box-shaped, and they're covered in like tarps or like linens or coverings. But then in some of them you can see hanging from the carriages are like bird cages and like small cages with like rodents in them, and you can see all manner of weird creatures in there. And then riding the carriage at the front, like walking alongside it, kind of pulling on one of the reins of these weird birds, you can see what looks like a tiefling of some sort. You've met tiefling before in Thebes. This one is quite rotund, looks like he's lived well, has basically like a deep blue colour, has very bushy eyebrows, and a goatee that looks like very, very pointy goatee, like he kind of grooms it to a fine point with some sort of grease or probably olive oil from where he is, but yeah. And he's walking around with very traveling clothes, but how to explain? They look fancy, but they look like they're not. Almost like they're knockoffs. Like he bought a really fancy outfit, but from Wish. If that makes sense. Which most people will know, yeah. So he looks like he's...
So you get delivered by Hermes.
Oh, I hate you. That's my joke. So he kind of... And he's shouting, and as they get closer, you can hear, like, the different shouts from all these animals, and there's, like, this chirping and growling and hissing and, like, little... noises and all sorts of things, and he spots you and says, "Ahoy, my friends! A very good morning to you all."
Good morning.
And,
Good day.
Good day, and hello, let me introduce me. I am Philotitus. It is a pleasure to meet you all on such a fine day. Whereabouts are you all heading, may I ask?
Where is it we're going again, guys?
We're going to Attica, dear.
That's the one. We're going to Attica.
Attica, a very fine city, very, very fine city. They do have very good trades in Attica. If you ever go, mention Philotitus, you'll get a good deal in Attica. You see, myself, I am a tradesman, and I can see, if you do not mind me saying, a very mixed, exotic bunch amongst you. I have not seen a tabaxi in a very long time.
Yeah, there's another one lurking around somewhere.
Oh, two tabaxi. I'm blessed this day. But yes, enough of that. Whilst I have your attention, while we meet on the must almost be fated by the Oracle of Delphi herself, would any of you like to peruse the exotic creatures that I travel with?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
But first of all, what the hell are those giant chicken things?
These?
Because I want one of those.
Oh, these.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I cannot sell you one of these, my friends, as I would not get very far without my trusty axe beak to pull my carts. But I have many things that may serve as a mount for one such as yourself.
You have something in there big enough for me.
Oh, my friend, do I have a treat for you? I have many things in here. Let me show you, my friend. Okay, so you want to say big stuff? Yeah, I like you. You want the big stuff. And he leads you to like the back of towards the midsection of the cart. It looks like 3 carts that have been tied together just with rope. And if you get close to the axe beaks, they do look a bit knackered, but also maybe too dumb to care. like they don't look that intelligent, but they look like they can do a job. But yeah, it leads you.
I'm keeping Shivani very close to me.
Okay.
I don't trust them at all.
Yeah, so he leads you to the back and says, "Okay, so you're my friend. It's a very arid desert. How about something scaly as a mount rather than feathery?" And he pulls back one of the tarps, and you can see it looks like a pretty much on point Komodo dragon, but 3 times the size and yellow.
Mummy, can we keep him?
Yeah, and he's just kind of curled up into this cage, kind of a little cramped into this cage. And yeah, it is it is pretty much an on-point Komodo dragon, bright yellow, and its tongue comes out much like a Komodo dragon's. It's blue, and it just seems quite docile for what it is. It's like, yes, this giant salamander is very good mount for it. Probably one of the only things here that would take you without eating you. We do have other big beasties, but they are much harder to tame. And if you have not kept these beasts before, I would advise against them. But we do have them if you did want to see.
I mean, what else do you have other than a banana dragon?
The giant salamander, but let me see. Okay.
Banana dragon.
Okay. What else do we have? Well, let's see if that's not exotic enough for you. Maybe something that is both scaly, feathery, and has horns. Yes.
Well, I like the horns. The horns are a good touch.
Horns.
So,
I have something
on brand.
I have something for you, sir. Definitely. Okay, and he leads you to the very back of the cart. He's like, "Okay, be careful. Do not get too close to this, because it may be in a cage, but it has reach. I've lost many out of my employment that could not handle said creature. So yeah, just yes, it will be fine. Don't worry. They are all safe. They have all their hands." And he pulls out like a long stick with a hook on it, and then just moves the tarp back. And again, you see this huge winged beast. Like it looks like a Lego, like a kid's got all the Lego sets and put them together. It has like the body, like the front body and the head of a lion. It has like the back body of like a giant goat and one goat head. It has like what looks either like a snake's or a dragon's head coming out one side as well, and like these tiny like cramped in bat wings. And as you go and have a look at it, the snake body just hisses out and tries to strike at you and stops a little bit short. Well, yes, I have to work very, very hard to tame this beast. Well, to capture, again, tame is another matter. But yes, this is the fabled chimera of Promethean Isles. Again, would be very hard to tame, but for one as big as you, sir, if you can manage it, would make a fine mount.
And how exactly would one go about taming something like this?
Carefully.
The tabaxi at this point puts her hand very carefully over her face and goes, "Oh God, no!"
You cannot see the tabaxi that is hiding unless you make a good roll. But that tabaxi's going, no.
You know what? You've got yourself a deal. How much do you want for this thing?
Again, is very rare. Comes from Promethean Isle, all the way across the seas. But for you, my friend, you're my first customer today, so why don't make you a deal for 5,000 gold?
Right.
At that point, she breathes a sigh of relief.
I'll trade you for 2 tabaxi.
Again, I am yet to say 2 tabaxi, but from the look on your friend's face, I do not think she would be happy with that. Although, if you were to throw in that very exotic-looking, interesting dog there, I could knock a couple of thousand gold off the price.
Yeah, no, I like the dog. Dog will stay with me. You can have the cat.
So if you do not have the money, my friend, I have something that may be more your price range.
Alright, go on then.
Okay, for what is the cheapest thing we have, but still interesting, let me show you. We have, let me see, and he leads towards the very back of the carriage where there's just lots of bird cages. And like there's a few like weird colour changing birds in there, and like some of them have like what look like giant insects, almost like giant hornets and things like that. They lead you to the very back with a cover over it, and it's like, okay, this is probably more your price rated. I can give you one of these for maybe 50 gold. And he pulls down the tarp, and it's about the size of a cat, I guess, or like a large parrot, and it has mostly the body of some sort of exotic bird, like it has like rainbow plumage and feathers and things like that, but the head of a crocodile. This may be more your scene. We call it crocatu. Is not too big in the brain box, but it's a very loyal creature. Once you make friends with Crocodile, it's friends for life.
Oh, you found your soulmate, Runt.
Boy, shut up. I'm not nearly that colourful.
So, what do you think, my friend? I think he's good fit, no? You with he has the fearsome teeth to go with your impressive horn.
Mine.
Sorry,
Alright,
I've only been...
50 might be a bit... 50 might be a bit much.
Okay.
And, what would you say to 30?
30. You see, I would be making a loss, my friend, but he does not want to be cooped up like this. So I say, if you'll take him off my hands now, and you'll take good care of him, and you don't keep him in cage, then I can let him go for 30 gold for you. Yeah.
Alright, you've got yourself a deal.
Okay. Okay, we have deal, my friend. Well done. Might take 30 gold from your inventory. And he reaches in, and this thing, grabs this thing, quite definitely, underneath, and grabs it by the feet, and it looks like it's going to bite it, but it just kind of falls over as the weight of its head kind of... Oops, silly bird. Lizard thing. Good crocodile. Take good care of him. He will eat literally anything. Be careful when he drinks. He can drown in rainwater. And he passes you the crocodile.
Cool. I immediately try to bond with my new pet.
Okay, you can be making an animal handling check as he turns to the rest of you. What about you? Anything that interests you? You know, maybe a mount, maybe a companion, maybe you just want to see something interesting, yeah?
I already have a companion. Thank you.
I can see he's a very fine companion. If companionship, if it ever have litter, then please bear me in mind if we should ever meet again. I would be very interested. What about the rest of your fine people?
You said you had a chimera?
Yes, you can see. Oh, again, don't get too close. It's very snappy. But yes, we have chimera from the Promethean Isles.
How did you get the chimera here?
Again, very carefully. I used to have bigger team, but they are disloyal.
No, where are you planning on taking it?
I am heading over to Lagina, and from there, who knows? Maybe Thebes, and across the water, maybe to Sparta, wherever the road takes me.
Okay.
You know, I do not stay in one place, because how else would I meet such exotic people and find such exotic beasts if I all stay in one place? You know?
That's very true.
How do you keep it this calm while travelling?
You feed it a lot. Between us and not your mentor friend over there, you have to have a lot more crocodile. Well, yes, yes, I've been doing this for many years. I can tame many beasts, big or small.
Do I trust anything that he's saying?
Roll a insight check.
Can I also roll an insight check?
You make yours a disadvantage because you're hiding behind a rock.
Yep, that's fine.
And you're naive as
20, not natural.
14.
Okay. Yeah, from what you could tell, you don't know if he's like a nice guy, but he seems genuine. Kaya, yeah, he's a con man, obviously. Like, he got these things, but he probably just purchased them at another market and does not know how to look after them. But, you know, he's a seller, not a zookeeper or like an animal tamer. So he could have done the same thing with like pots or sculptures. It just so happens that this week he has animals. Okay. Oh, actually, if timing is right, sun is not completely over. So I can show you something very, very special if you wish to see it. Free of charge, since your friend there made such good purchase. Come, you like it, I promise.
See, guys, I made a good purchase.
Okay,
Yeah, let's go have a look at this thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay,
I'm just staying at the front having a stare down contest with the axe beaks while I'm.
Yeah,
eating the room
it's hard to
from
have a
afar.
stare down since their eyes don't face the same way. But yeah.
I don't care. It's still better than looking at Run right now.
What did you get on your animal handling check, by the way, Run?
I rolled a nat 20.
Of course you did. Yeah, you just kind of go. And it goes. You go. And he just perches on top of one of your horns. And then very quickly falls upside down, but doesn't seem to have realised, and is just hanging upside down from your longer horn. Imagine just imagine the chicken from Moana, and you're pretty close.
Yes.
With a crocodile face.
Yes, the croc too. So yeah, you two seem to be bonding nicely. Yeah, Titus, he takes you to the back of around to the side, the opposite side of the Chimera. He goes, you see this? Is not for sale. I am taking it I have buyer already. Very, very big collector. But I can show you if you like. It's very interesting, especially at this time of the day. And pulls back a top, and you see this huge, like, humanoid, like, beefy, like, troll kind of figure. And there's just big front teeth, the rags of clothing, just built like a brick shit house troll just at the bars, like... It's impressive, no?
Yeah, Simon Trollson. What's so interesting about this time of day?
This time of day, if we wait just a few seconds, you'll see at nighttime this thing vicious troll. But in the day... Sorry, we may have to wait a few minutes. Talk amongst yourselves. This is not play where everything happens at the right time. And you wait an awkward amount of time, and then the sun properly peaks over the horizon, and you see as the troll starts to like shake and shudder, and then slowly starts to shrink down, and after like about 30 seconds to a minute, becomes the form of like a young teenage child. I know, right? It's crazy. I've never seen this before in my life.
I grab Phil by the scruff of the neck and just pin him against the password.
Yeah,
Fuck you doing keeping child in a cage.
Look, these spoils of war is better than slavery where I picked it up. It was being used to pull big quarries of stone. This way it can, like, at least sit down.
Does it have a brand on it?
It's sorry, you're pulling very tight there on this close. It's fine.
I'm going to have a look at this.
I left him up higher.
Okay, yes. Roll an intimidation check at advantage because it's a big guy. Because you're a big guy.
And because it's me.
Yeah.
I'll be either a...
I'm going to come around.
Oh, we're on intimidation. My intimidation is +3, so that's either a 21 or...
I didn't hear the second one, but a 21.
Let's go with 21.
Yeah. Let's go 21. Look, I'm sorry, I did not hurt this thing. I did not brand it. No, I did not brand it at all. It did have mark on its back, but I did not put it there. Again, I purchased from slaver. That was very cruel. And me, I feed it, I look after it, I stay out of its way at night time. But no, it even good conversation on the road.
What slaver and where, or I get the big guy to squeeze a little bit?
There are many slavers. It was just working at the quarry, north. It was just southeast of Epithus Forest. There is big quarry where they mine the stone, and they were using it to pull big stone blocks. Was
there more of them?
No, I did not see any more of this thing, which is why I was very interested to when I purchased. But no, there was just one of these things. But yet they were using giants and trolls. But they were always giants and trolls, and in the daytime they were still giants and trolls. Only this thing turned into little Sam here.
Oh dear, they're still on the loose.
This is one of them that from that village.
The one we spoke of last night.
Mercy? This is from the village?
I would hazard a guess. Is it currently a child still?
Yeah, it's like maybe 12, 13 years old.
See. Is it a boy or a girl? Sorry.
It's a young boy. From what you can tell, it's very dirty. Seems very like its eyes are just wide. It seems almost like a rabid kind of look in its eyes.
Oh shit. I'll try and say. Do you understand? Do you understand me? Oh dear, it's been a thing for far too long. Arse. So much arse. How long have you had him?
Not long, maybe 3 weeks. Again, I come from Delphi. I make my way down here. I stop at Corion Way because I heard there might be something I want to see. Friend give me good tip. He in Delphi. If you ever make your way to Delphi, I could introduce you. But anyway,
No.
okay. I get away from myself. But yes, it's maybe 3 weeks, give or take. Not long.
Given the nature of what we saw, if it's been like this for the best part of a month, this is not good. Just give me a...
If your friend could just put me down, my ears are starting to pop.
No.
Okay.
It'll be your head popping in a minute now. Shut up.
Shut it up.
If we're going to... Well... First of all, we need... Right. First things first, we are taking the child, whether you like it or not.
I mean, I want to...
Secondly... No, shush. You're going to provide us with the name of whoever you bought it from.
Oh yes, if I have it in my book, is in my pocket. I'm just going to reach for the book. No funny business. I cannot exactly get far with those stupid acts speak. Just reaching for my book. Okay, I have name in here. I have name. Please do not get your friend to squeeze off my head. He's breathing very loud.
When he gets to the right, basically stops on a particular page as if he's there, I'm just going to sort of like go, I'll take that.
Okay, no, you hold on to that. You hold on to that. That's fair.
Yeah, and then have a look and see sort of like what it says.
It's all in Infernal. If anybody speaks Infernal.
I don't.
Okay.
Yes, I do, actually.
Hey, go Mercy.
Mercy. And I'll pass it over.
Thank you, dear.
You basically just see a list of names and then like places or things next to it. So it has like Celestus, Cloth, like Maximus, stay away, doesn't like me, things like that. And then you see one.
Okay.
It's Argyle. And yeah, so Argyle, it just said Argyle, Quarry, place to sleep.
Okay. Keep cooperating and we won't hand you back to Maximus.
I mean, there is many on that list, but yes, Maximus would be that too.
Well, he sounds like he could use a bit of vengeance in this life or the next. Hey! Sorry! Couldn't resist.
To be fair, on that, if you look through like a few of the pages, on every page there's at least 3 names that say "doesn't like me." So.
Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised?
I mean, if you, to be fair, if you just want to put your name down there, I'm guessing you no longer like me either.
It's not a matter of not liking you, dear. It's just a matter of what you have there needs to be somewhere else.
What?
And
That's what I was taking it somewhere else. This is what I do.
No. Where were you taking it? To a circus? Who were you selling it to?
Like I said, there was a man at Thebes. He was collector like me, but he has ship rather than cart. He wanted to buy off my hands and then take... There, he just heard I had a good creature, and I have done him a good deal before, and he said that he would buy, and he would take back to his country.
Yes, well, Thebes is many things, but no. This child needs to, well, he might not necessarily have a family anymore, but however, he needs to be made whole again, and we can't do that if he's carted off somewhere else to remain feral and primal. And
Nothing good.
No, and it's nothing you need to worry about, except that if you ever come across something, another child, creature like this, you need to take it to Attica, which is where we are going now, and you need to bring it to the temple of Persephone. And you mention the word Olympus. And if you don't, hopefully they will understand, because they will just make you believe. So they're going to
Yes, absolutely. If I ever come across this, I take it straight to Attica, Olympus. Yes, got all of that. That's good.
You even think about selling a child again. I'm going to personally come for you.
I believe you.
And she won't be alone.
I also believe that. Now, if I could go on my way, I feel this business deal is very much sour.
I would very much say do not go to Lagina right now. Wherever your next port of call is, make that your primary port of call.
Well, it was Thebes, but now I've lost a sail, so maybe rethink. But I would very much like to rethink on the road. If your friend could please put me down, I'll be on my way, and hopefully you'll never have to see me again, and likewise.
One last thing. I reach over, I take the purse from his belt and go, we'll call this a tax on loan. And just put it down.
I mean, you already still never got to I fucking hate you. Come on, you disgusting little fairy pieces of fuck. Bye now, friends. Good day. Please do not fall into a ditch and die. That would be awful. And he just makes his way.
I just look at the cockatoo, like to take off on and go, what a dick. Put it back.
It immediately just swings again. But like facing behind you now. And you are left with a cage with this feral child, essentially.
I'll come back out now that he's on his way.
Okay, yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yes, I did. I was protecting. I can do more damage if I'm hidden. If something goes sour, it's better for me to protect you from a distance.
Just be nice to know when you piss off somewhere, though. It'd be nice.
I'll leave a note next time.
Please do.
Run. What is that on your horn?
This.
What the fuck did you buy, you muppet?
This is Scales. Alright, be nice to Scales.
Scales.
I'm more interested in the child.
Oh, yeah, that's a very long story. We might have to say that for later tonight.
Okay.
What did we try last time? I don't want to have to take that route again. I'm sure you don't want to have to take that route again. But there has to be something that we could try different this time that could actually make a difference.
Then there may be something I can possibly try later, but right now I cannot. The best thing we can do is at least try and make it semi-comfortable, try and clean him up. And then when nighttime calls, he's sufficiently restrained in his cage again.
Can we take him out of the cage now, or does he need to stay in the cage?
Well, needless to say, we've got to take the cage with us. Otherwise, how are we going to restrain him in the cage at night?
No, I mean, we have to take the cage. I just don't know, do we let him out now, or do we leave him in?
How big is the cage?
It's not huge. Like it's not enough it's enough for him to be like cramped in when he's an ogre. So for a child, it's spacious enough.
And I'm assuming it's not on, but it's not on wheels, though, is it?
No, it was on. It was just an iron cage that was on the cart.
Right. Well,
I didn't quite think that through. Never mind.
Why do we always come across con men?
Why do we what, dear?
Always come across con men.
Because you needed to find this child.
One out of how many?
I don't even want to think about that right now, dear. He was already giving me a goddamn migraine.
I can fashion it so Runt can pull it, but we don't have any wheel.
we could chop down a couple of trees and lay the logs in the course of the cage and roll it along the top and just pull out the last one and put it in front. So we used
or
to
can we
the
put
military
something? We might be able to.
Something I will say from like you lifting and heaving and things like that in your past, you think that between two of you, if you could find a way of two of you carrying it, then it'd be pretty easy going. You could keep a steady walking pace, but on your own, it'd be a bit of a slog.
I mean, I can try and support you as best I can, dear, being of a similar height.
I could try and help from another corner.
Can we put, is there anything around that looks long enough that we could put like a stick through it to hold it up, like a...
Make a...
Maybe like a sedan type thing.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Perception check.
18?
18, yeah, you look around, again, it's quite arid, but there are like the occasional dry trees. They don't grow very thick, so the tree trunks themselves are about maybe that wide. So if you could take down a couple of those, you could probably fashion them. If only you had something like an axe or similar.
Right, well, I draw out my greatsword that I haven't used in quite some time.
Can you cut down those trees, Ron?
Well, I suppose so. Right, Scales, hold on. Just start swinging away with this broadsword, this greatsword, just trying to chop down the trees.
Like, it doesn't take you long. Like, it's pretty impressive. Like, you're swinging away at this. Somewhat offset by the fact that every time your head swings, you have this cockatoo swinging on it. Again, like a freaking pendulum. But again, it doesn't seem to have noticed that it's not facing upright. Like, it's just glazed over the sides.
Or that it's like swinging around?
Pretty much. It's just occasionally it'll just go, and then a Tom will come out and lick its eyeball.
I love it.
But yeah, you take down those trees just fine, and yeah, you have two makeshift kind of poles.
And I will cut some pieces of rope to tie them so that they stay in the cage.
Okay, as you get close to the cage, what's your armor class?
15?
15, yeah, so this thing lashes out and just scratches like down the side of your face and just lunges out, and you take 1 point of damage. Yeah, this thing lashes out at you as you get close.
Yes. Think it stays in cage. Runt, can you threaten it and keep it to the other side while I tie this to make sure that we've got good coverage to keep the trees so you guys can carry away from the child?
I can try talking to it. I'm not entirely keen on threatening it.
I don't know whether it talks well. It seemed to growl before. But if you can talk to it, sure.
Right, well, I approach the cage and offer some water, some bread and then say sweet, soothing things like I'm approaching a wild horse.
Okay. In that case, make because of how feral the child is, make an animal handling check, just because it is more kind of animal mentality than human or humanoid right now.
And that will be a 17.
He goes to kind of lash out at first, like a few times, so you kind of draw back the food and like water, but after a little bit it kind of just, you place the bowl down, and it doesn't try and talk to you or interact with you or anything, but it does kind of just sit in the corner with the food and the water, and gives you Ness enough time to kind of tie on the poles to that side.
And that is a 20 for sleight of hand to tie things together, so that way we can keep this going and it's not going to fall if while people are carrying
fine.
it.
You'll be able to do that, and it means you get a little bit of distance on either side of it, so it can't lash out at you again if it wants to.
Mercy, it scratched me. Is that going to do anything negative?
No.
Okay.
From what I recall, no. Just let me know if you genuinely need any actual curing.
No, it's fine.
I'll explain later if need be.
No, don't worry. Don't give yourself a headache now. I just wanted to know if we needed to deal with it.
No.
The headache started weeks ago, dear.
And then it just got worse.
Well, it's fixed now. We can go.
It's appreciated.
If you thought maybe you're allergic to cats, maybe that's why it's gotten worse.
I'm just going to give him just...
Or maybe your bizarre friend called Scales has made it worse.
Maybe I'm just allergic to... Maybe I'm just allergic to your bullshit, dear.
Of course it's bullshit, it's a ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, do space.
He just called it shit.
I'm too old for this shit.
Exactly.
Mutar. Thank you. At least one person, at least. Oh no, others got it. I've just seen the faces. So you guys. So you guys carry on slower progress, but like I said, you managed to keep a steady walking pace as you go. It gets to, like, you can see, like, you spend the whole day walking. It's main roads again. Like, you'd say Lagina is the center where, as Hecate is the goddess of the crossroads, it's placed at a crossroads, so there are big trade routes coming from Lagina to pretty much everywhere through one way or another. It starts to become like grey, and you feel like nighttime. It will be on you in like the next half an hour to an hour, and memory serves, this thing's going to get a bit heavier.
It might be worth stopping for a while.
Yeah.
Do we need to do anything other than just put the cage down?
We'll just have to make sure that it doesn't break out, I guess. I don't think it can.
Can I do a look to make sure the cage looks still all intact and everything, carrying it?
Make an investigation check.
That's a nat 1.
Seems fine.
Looks fine to me.
Okay.
Can I double check it?
Depends. Would you believe... Oh, no, you spent the watch with her. You wouldn't believe her. Yeah, you can make an investigation.
Nope. He would totally double check this.
Yeah. I was going to say, because you don't know what she rolled, but you spent the night talking to her, so yeah.
So that would be investigation is... -1, that's not great. It was a 15.
15? Seems okay. Seems caged.
As we've been travelling, I've been watching how it's acting and how it's reacting to everything.
Yeah, it basically, it's... For the first couple of hours, it is very active and like trying to lunge at you through the bars and like trying to shake it. So it takes a while for you guys to be able to keep that pace because it's always putting the cage off balance. But after a while, it kind of loses steam and gives up, and then it kind of just stays very quiet. But if there's ever any like sound, or if you guys get a bit too close of it, it kind of becomes active and lunges again on instinct. But yeah, ignore it for long enough, and and it just calms down and it's pretty placid.
Kaya, what instruments do you play again? I forget. If any.
Flute, not overly great with. Lyre, spend a lot of time with. I'm quite good with that.
That
Why?
might be. No, I'm just wondering if a little bit of music might help calm it down a little bit, and I can maybe try and hum a sort of like the tune of a like the hymns we would recite.
You hum something, I'll be able to make something to go with.
I'm not very great, but I can give you a sort of beat.
We should be fine for now, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'll do my best attempt to singing in Celestial. Something like one of the like chants and stuff that I was forced to have to recite in the temple.
Go for it. Make a performance check with advantage because Kaya's helping.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay.
Are you guys setting up camp before you do this, or is this just kind of ad hoc?
Well,
I think we'll be setting up camp.
Yeah, because they didn't have a whole lot of time.
Oh.
Yeah. Out of interest, Luke, the size that this kid's actually going to grow to, still medium, or does it become large?
It becomes large.
Large.
It's one of the things that you guys, or these guys,
Yeah.
you were there as well, yeah, for in
I was there.
in Typhus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with advantage it was 19.
19? Yeah, it's pretty well. It doesn't resonate with it. Like it doesn't seem to recognize anything. But
Well, no, I'm just using it to try and like help.
Yeah, the soothing music seems to calm it a bit from when you guys are setting up camp and making a lot of noise. It keeps it docile enough while you guys are doing that, but it doesn't do much in terms of like.
No, that's fine. Just wanted to try and see if it would just help.
Yeah.
Soothe the inner beast, so to speak.
Correct. That was the random thought. You're not as bad at playing that as you think you are, you know.
It's not the instrument that's the issue. The instruments are fine. It's the more vocal instrument that's the issue.
Well.
So yeah, as you guys make up camp and you attempt to soothe it a little bit, nighttime does arrive, and as the sun heads down past the horizon, as expected, the child becomes more agitated and twitches, and then just grows out to like this large ogre-like creature, kind of hunched over in the cage, and starts like again being very hostile, very active, starts banging on the bars and trying to like rip the cage apart. Which it does start to seem like you can see the bars like start to buckle a little bit. As it does so. Is there anything you guys want to do?
Can I try and calm it again? Like,
I'll carry on playing, sort of.
You can do it. It'd be at disadvantage because this thing is like trying to rip its way. It's kind of almost like you recognise this run. This is almost like a rage.
Do we have anything for it to destroy that we can put in the cage?
Yes, his pet. I don't know.
I just disappoint.
I look slightly improving.
Do you have any meat for Chobani or any like bow for Chobani?
Yes, I have sort of like rations that he eats.
22, Luke.
Okay.
Maybe can we throw
Performance
that
check.
and see if it's interested in eating something from that?
Is it still animal handling to try and...
It will be animal handling, yep.
Oh, is it physically trying to, like, forcing the bars apart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, in which case, I'm going to cast Ray of Enfeeblement on it.
Okay. What does it do with...
Well, if I hit it, it means...
It's half strength, isn't it?
It basically... Yeah, it's basically half strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me one sec, let me... Will oh no, hang on.
Essentially, you guys are hiring the DC for it to break out, if you can. So yeah, anything you can do,
Yeah,
whether it's
I'm
calm
just checking my
it, or
spell.
restrain it, or enfeeble it, or anything like that.
Yeah, will a 17 hit it?
17 will hit it, yep.
Okay, then I just maintain concentration on it, but I think it gets the opportunity to try and thingy. Yeah, it can attempt to make a con save at the end of each of its turns if it's continuing to try and rage.
Okay. We'll see if that happens. So do you want to roll animal handling? Have you done so then? Oh, I think we've lost now.
Yeah.
Lost internet.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
Does anyone else
Will
want to do
somebody,
something in the meantime? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we are. Now I get slightly distorted.
No, it's cool, I fixed it.
Can I try and come with, like, do I have sort of any insight?
Well, Kaya's kind of...
mindset of it?
Kaya's rolled like a 20-something to try and calm it. Mercy's
22.
made it... Yeah, Mercy's made it weaker. Is there anything that you guys want to try that's different? It's like it's basically a group skill check at this point, so if you can bring something different to the table.
Can I try and restrain it with my amazing strength?
You can, it will be opposed grapple, and this thing will be at disadvantage because of the Ray of Enfeeblement. So roll is it just strength versus strength, I believe?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. So, but I'll be rolling at disadvantage, so do so. Ooh. It's a good thing too, I rolled a 19 and a 9.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I rolled a 21.
So it would have been a tie if it didn't have disadvantage. So yeah, so you hit it with this Ray of Enfeeblement, and it becomes less like calmed by the music and more distracted by it, kind of momentarily like recognizing some tune or some melody.
Oh,
There we go. And in that brief distraction, you kind of see an opening run, and you grab a hold of its arms through the bars and pull and kind of lock them so that it can't grab, like kind of like that, by holding it apart like this. So all it can do is kind of shake against them. It can't use much of its strength anymore. Which gives you guys
can
a
I
brief...
see if I can?
Yeah, make a...
Can I see if I can do something to fix the cage?
You can try and fix the cage if you want to. Like I say, it just seems like it's forcing the bars. Runt has him kind of held right now. So...
Can I have a look then to see? Can I then just do an investigation roll to see what I think would be the best to do to deal with the cage situation?
Okay, yeah, make a... Actually, just make a straight
If it's going to be
intelligence check.
fixable or if it's not.
Make an intelligence check, Rob, and do that, see what the best...
20?
20. Yeah, it's less that the cage is broken, more that this thing just, like, became enraged and strong enough to just literally force metal to bend. So if you can restrain the creature in a more permanent way, it is probably better than trying to fix the cage.
Do
Because
that.
if it becomes that enraged again, it could just bend metal again, possibly.
Can I tie it up?
Yes, make a sleight of hand check. Just straight sleight of hand, because Runt's got it restrained, but it is still like...
23?
23, you guys are rocking it tonight with the rolls. Or making me not, which is another good way of doing it. So yeah, so while this thing's like this through the bars, you tie its arms around each other, so essentially, when Runt lets go, it is still up against the bars with its arms tied on the outside of the cage, and so it kind of just has to shake and can't do much, and is restrained. Still angry, still thrashing, but has lost a lot of its momentum. Even when, Mercy, your spell, after about 12 seconds or so, just wears off, it broken, but it's still, because it can't get that leverage and it can't get its arms on the bars, it's kind of just restrained as it is for now, and just growling at you all.
Well, in that case, can I actually cast Mending on where he's bent the bars?
You can. It does bend them back into place for now, and they are straight again.
Just to try and reinforce it a bit.
Yeah, like I say, if this thing had, it could possibly try again, but for now you've restrained it to the point where it won't be able to do that same technique.
Is there any way we can literally just time to the bar so we can't actually do anything?
It pretty much is at this point.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I've tried to do.
You can tie it next to it as well.
So imagine the bars here. It's kind of locked like this.
Okay.
And then, but its arms are tied where they cross over, where Runt grabbed his arms and crossed them over. So it can't pull like this, and the bar is in between its arm and its head. So it's very much.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because that's how Runt found best to restrain it, and then I just tied it there.
Yeah, Runt just grabbed his arms and pulled like that. And Ness, thinking very quickly, wraps up those arms so that Runt doesn't have to stay there the whole night in this constant grapple. So you have successfully restrained this thing.
If we just camp up for now. What?
I'll try putting it back over.
You can try if you want to. Do you have a bag?
I'm sure I must do.
If he asks for a bag, I have a bag.
There we are. We have a bag.
I was thinking of possibly sewing some blankets together to make a hood for the whole cage.
Yeah, well, just somewhere blindfolding it. Just aid to obscure its vision. Might calm it down a little bit.
Like a butcher.
Will it calm you down?
I have several sacks, but I'm not sure whether it'll work or not. I mean, I don't know whether it would make it calmer or not.
Well, ways to find out.
Feel free to... Yeah, okay. If you're doing that, you kind of make a makeshift blanket over the top of it, and it does struggle for a bit, but it does, after about 10 minutes or so, it does seem to go quiet. And you guys remember that when you found the salesman, it was still in troll form, and it wasn't making that much noise, and it did have a blanket over it. So you don't know if it did calm it down, or if it's been trained somehow for that to quiet it down or something. But it seems to be working for now, oddly.
I'll work on stitching some blankets together while we sit round. Get that sorted to make a makeshift cover. I will have stitched many things like sails before.
Yeah. So you can make a... I won't even make you make a check for that. If you just take the time to do it, because you're not trying to do it quickly, that you should be able to do that before you go to bed, basically.
Yes.
She'll pull out and give you an extra blanket.
Cool.
So...
We're going to have to watch it tonight, aren't we?
Yes, but what is it, and what's the permanent plan for it?
Simple thing. The simplest. It's a child. And
it's been cursed.
Yeah.
And have you fixed the curse before?
Well,
We thought we had. Definitely not.
We destroyed a potential source, but the source might not be the only one. But sadly, the trail accidentally went cold when we got transported out of our way to Sparta. I wasn't necessarily expecting a visit to Titus too soon, however. The opportunity has presented itself to us, and we are close to where I'm from. If there is an opportunity, if I am unable able to deal with it directly, and getting it to my temple might be the best option of dealing with it and finding out if there is a more permanent solution, and if there is a means of projecting that remedy to whatever else might be still affected by it, and if we can somehow it's one of those situations where either I can't fix it or if they can't fix it, then they're released. But if we can find additional answers on top of what we're currently dealing with, this is another potential say we can tie up at some point if we know what's going on, even if we know what direction he got it from. That's someone else we can eventually find out we're going towards at some point, because I would like that to be dealt with eventually, because that's been bugging me for a long time.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we can keep it tied up and okay until we get to your temple.
Roughly how many days was it from Nagina to Attica?
2
or 3?
I think it's more like
About a
week's
week.
travel.
Well, we better get moving.
Better get some sleep.
Well, give me to the morning and I'll try something different, and then if that doesn't work, then we definitely have to get it to Attica.
Okay, so are you guys doing... I take it you're doing watches again tonight for 2 reasons now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you same pairs or are you mixing things up?
What? Out of interest, Luke, what's the weather like?
It's quiet. It's been like calm weather so far, really. To be fair, and except for like certain, it comes in seasons, really. This is kind of in that cusp between summer and autumn. So like it's still quite hot, but you're getting like mild winds and things like that as autumn starts to kind of approach, and it becomes that colder 6 months of the year when Demeter gets a little bit upset.
I could try a thing. Unfortunately, our caged friend couldn't come in with us. But at least it would ensure that we're fully protected. If we wanted.
Well, that's up to you, dear, isn't it, really?
Well,
Can we see out to know if our caged friend tries to escape?
we'd be able to see out, no one would be able to see in.
That's up to you, but as long as we can see the caged thing to know if we get out, that sounds good.
Okay, give me a minute. And I'm just sort of going to go and find an area that was going to basically have us like right up to, but not including the big cage.
Yeah,
And I'm going to cast Tiny Hut.
thought you might. So yeah, do you have anything in mind of what it looks like, or do you want me to sprinkle some flavour on it?
Sprinkle some flavour on it.
Okay, so you go up. Rather than sprinkle some flavour, I maybe rip my ears out.
Sprinkle some...
Okay, I'll edit that out. No, I won't. So you kind of find a spot that works, and you pull out your lyre, and you just strum a chord, and then you strum again, and then you strum again, and each time you strum, it gets progressively louder and louder until you can see almost like physical waves of sound appear. And then in this one spot where you're kind of playing your music at, after a few strums, the waves of the sound become like the waves of a mirage, and the image becomes distorted each time you strum, until eventually you play one final chord, and the air wobbles in that kind of hot day on a tarmac kind of mirage look and dissipates, and you're left with like a purple-pink orb of colour and light, almost like a half dome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then you see me throw up my hand, and like dancing lights shiver around the top of your dome in the same color palette.
So you've got like one half giant orb and then 4 tiny little glowing orbs kind of circling it. It looks very pretty. Very conspicuous, but very pretty.
We've somehow invented disco.
Never kill disco.
That's rather impressive.
At least this way, we'll be safe. We can see out. Nothing can see in. And yeah, well, at least we should hopefully at least have a slightly better night's sleep than being out in the open.
Well, that's debatable, but certainly safer.
Okay, so are you guys still doing watches? But like within the same...
Oh, hell yes.
Yes.
Okay, and how are you doing watches?
I'm taking the obligatory last one. I don't mind if anyone comes to join me if they want, but I don't mind.
Anyone want to volunteer to do the last watch with Mercy?
I'll do the last watch with Mercy.
There we go, have some old school Kaya Mercy action. Ness and Nim, which watch do you want to take?
And I say to Nim, the Minotaur is very interesting. Do you want to talk to him? And I'll take by myself in the...
Okay. I'm more interested in probably the cockatoo. But yeah, I can spend some time with him.
Bloody cockatoo.
The menagerie takes the first watch.
Yep, you three can
Well, Chibani can wait. Chibani can sort of like stay and watch the cage. Because he can always alert us if anything strange happens with the cage.
Has anyone, sorry, weird offshoot, has anyone seen Stardust? Please say yes, it's my favourite.
Yes.
It's like, I can get you one of those actually. Garrett Guard Dogs can watch the front and the back door at the same time. I've even got the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means...
Underrated.
Very underrated.
Very underrated.
So yeah, Ness, that means you will take the second watch. Do we have a run? Yeah, just in time.
There he comes.
So,
Here he comes
Runt.
to save the day.
Runt. You, Nim, Scales, and Chibani all have the first watch.
Cool.
Okay, is there anything you guys wanted to talk about, squawk about? Whilst you are on this watch.
I just want to play with
I'm quite intrigued by Scales as well. Can I learn anything about it?
Make a nature check.
22.
Well done. 22, yeah, you inspect it, and, you don't know if there's something, like, wrong with it. Because, like, there's nothing going on behind its eyes. Like, nothing at all.
It feels like it should be an aberration.
It feels like it should be extinct. And if all of them are like this, then you can understand why you've never met another one before, because they probably just ended up forgetting to eat, or... just walking off of cliffs and forgetting they could fly. If they can fly, you haven't actually seen this thing fly. It has the wings, but it hasn't actually tried to fly yet.
It seems to be a perfect companion for you, Runt.
Well, I mean, we do make fair.
I would suggest making sure it eats and drinks properly, though. It does seem to have a very strange habit of hanging upside down. Most
Maybe it's
birds
part
don't live
bat.
upside down. It's definitely not part bat. Might be part lizard, but it's not part bat.
That's just cold-blooded. Right, well, I'm going to feed it. What am I going to feed it?
I don't know, what are you going to feed it?
I'm going to feed it some meat.
Okay. So you feed it some meat, and it kind of pecks around your hand. Kind of. It's weird to peck with a crocodile mouth. But yeah, it's just... Its kind of nose is on the food. You kind of have to go... Okay, you kind of just have to physically open its mouth, put the food in, and start chewing for it until it kind of... Oh yeah, and then starts chewing for itself.
As I said, you've got to make sure it eats properly.
Oh, I mean, it seems to be enjoying that. I mean, it took a little bit to get going, but I mean, that's some tough joking. So,
It does start choking. You have to kind of...
I do the Heimlich.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to pat the thing on the back of the... like, between the wings, and it just... and it just spits out, like, a small bronze ring. Like,
What?
It looks like the link. It looks like the link of a chain, but
Have you actually fed it that bronze ring?
I did not feed it that bronze ring.
Okay.
yeah, it's not like jewelry. It's like big chains. Like
Chainmail.
yeah, like a link of chainmail has kind of just been coughed up by this thing.
The hell is it been eating? Right,
I don't
pass on
think
back
it
some-
knows.
See if anything comes out.
It just kind of nothing else comes out, but it does try and
Right,
like yeah, it just kind of takes a bit of a beating, but no, it doesn't cough anything else up.
At the moment, I think even my dog is looking at it oddly, thinking, I think I should eat it to put it out of its misery. The ranger's thinking it should put it out of its misery, but is actually enjoying watching the Minotaur trying to care for something.
I try and tenderly pet it at the risk of it turning into mice and men.
Yeah, you pet it, and it hops up and nuzzles into you. But then, as it kind of starts to nuzzle, the weight of its head kind of takes it again, and it ends up nuzzling up flat on its head. It's like crocodiles have quite the flat head, feet up in the air, but kind of purring.
I tickle its belly.
It purrs louder.
It likes that. That's good. Yeah. It seems happy. The strange abomination that it is. I think we should probably find it some sort of care at some point, or maybe a sling.
That is a good point. Can I fashion like a caboose for it?
You can certainly try. Everyone drink, I said it. Fun fact, for those of you that don't follow the Twitter, this is not the first time I've had interactions with a cockatoo. But it will be the last.
Dun
That's
dun
what you
dun.
I will breed this bastard if
Okay.
I can.
Yeah, you can. You don't have to roll for it. Just over the. Just before you go to bed, you manage to like fashion some sort of weird fucking papoose for this cockatoo, and you guys eventually make your way to bed. Do you want to make a perception check? One of you at advantage, or both of you normally, before you do wake the next people up.
You want me to
can
do
get
it?
this one because this never ends well for me. Oh, I've got plus. Maybe it will then.
18.
18, yeah, it goes by fine. Like you don't hear many noises. Like when Scales starts like choking and gets hit on the back and starts going, ah! the thing in the cage just kind of, and it rattles a little bit, but then it settles down again. Like the covering seems to be doing its job. But other than that, yeah, you seem fine. And you guys are inside the hut as well, so you kind of, it's kind of peaceful that you can see out, but know that you have those walls. Nez, it's your solo watch, so I don't know if you wanted to do something or just make a perception check for me. It is completely up to you.
She pulls out a piece of parchment and a pencil and writes something to her family.
Oh, okay.
And while she's trying to watch them.
Okay.
That is a 18?
18, yeah. Once again, things seem pretty peaceful. It goes by kind of unabated. And eventually, after finishing your letter and just sitting up and watching the stars and thinking about kind of where this next adventure might take you, you then wake up Kaya and Mercy.
Poke, poke.
Yeah.
Things have been quiet.
Quiet's good.
Thank you for the pretty hut.
You're welcome.
And then she goes and curls her tail up over her head.
It's an odd one. Like, you guys kind of wake up and you can hear, although it is a peaceful night, you can hear 2 lots of purring, a snoring minotaur, a kind of a slightly snoring dog, but twice, and then what can only be described as a quiet but very noticeable kettle whistle coming from the nostrils of Scales.
What did he do?
Just like... That's probably going to blow out headphones, but yeah, that's what it sounds like on the exhale out of both nostrils. It's like an old-fashioned kettle when it's boiled. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So, do you know... It's like that opening scene in Pinocchio where Jiminy has to tell all the clocks to be quiet because it is nighttime, but there is so much ambient noise, it's ridiculous.
Well, I'm hoping that was a rhetorical question because, let's face it, yeah.
I'm just thinking it could be worse. It could have been that old bat that you told me about, sort of, that you came across in Thebes.
And then saw again in Sparta.
Yes, could have been her.
But isn't it funny how they just always seem to be assholes? What is it with...
No.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
It'll be fine. It'll be very, very fine. I'm sure.
I mean, it's bad enough having... Well, bad enough. It's bad enough having to go back to bring this news in any way, but then to
bring this along.
Yeah, it's like, hello. I know you sent me out to do this weird thing that I've been wanting to do to start with, and I'm doing this other thing. I really didn't want to do it, and now I've got here a fucking load of place. Yeah, it's going to look really, isn't it? I mean,
they're not going to turn you away, Mercy.
Well, of course not, but it's it's not a question of being turned away at the door. I mean, it's more of a case of, rather than bringing back glad tidings, and it's like, oh, this happened and this happened, and Dionysus wasn't a complete wanker.
But you've been out, you've experienced things that they wanted you to experience, and
Well, no, that wasn't it at all. At all.
But you've seen things and done things. You've learned and you've grown, even in the time that I've known you, and that's not long, but you have.
It's not that I've not regretted this. You know, I suppose there are many things about this I regret. And I just literally just point at Runt.
While this conversation is currently going on, Kaya's found some ribbons again that sort of like she keeps on in her bag. And she sort of like sat down by Runt and is just sort of like tying some on his horns again.
As you like creep up to Runt with the ribbons, you feel kind of odd. Like, not magically odd, but like you're being watched. And as you bend down, you look, and you notice the whistling stopped, and the cockatoo has just got one eye, and it's just looking at you, glaring. The pupil super thin, like lizard pupil, like super thin.
I'm going to reach down and just sort of like tickle its chin. Damn it, he's got an alarm clock. Sort of like,
As soon as you leave, it goes back, like, straight away, just...
I mean, I could put that out of its misery and call it natural causes.
No, he'd know, and he'd blame us. Not the other two. He'd definitely blame us.
Boo-hoo.
Right.
But anyway...
For the need of moving things forward, because we haven't had a break yet.
Yeah, fine, but yeah.
But yeah, if you guys want to make a perception check either individually or one advantage for me.
What do you want to do?
Should I go advantage?
Me?
No, I'll go advantage.
Yeah, go for it.
$25.
Okay, so on a 25, well done by the way, you spent most of the night, say quiet, there's, again, all the stuff, but it gets to a certain point in the night, and you can kind of, part of you feels it, part of you hears, like a low, very low bass rumbling, that's kind of just, and after a few seconds and kind of getting ready to wake everyone up, you realise that the ogre itself has also fallen asleep and is now snoring. There you go. On that note, we will go for a break before you all wake up. Sorry, I had to have my fun.
No.
Right, thanks for joining us again, guys. Thanks for... If you get time in the break, if you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks to everyone who's watched, subscribed, and donated bits already. Hope you're enjoying things. I know things are picking up with the channel, so hopefully that keeps on going and we can bring out more content for you guys to enjoy. And I hope that the players are enjoying it as well. I know you're enjoying certain things, like weird chimerian beasts and welcome to level 5. We'll see you in about 10 minutes, guys. See you soon. Bye. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, you guys, on your way to Attica, met with a very seedy, probably not genuine animal trainer seller who had an assortment of beasts, including a giant salamander, a chimera, a cockatoo, which Runt purchased, named in Scales.
Well, he didn't really purchase it because he did take the money back.
He did. You then, the seller then revealed one of the cursed children that you guys encountered in Typhus, and you very quickly relieved him of that, threatened him, and sent him on his way without money for his purchase, and making him, making it known that you are not impressed in him trading children, no matter how cursed or exotic they are. You then, made your way further to Attica, dealing with this new challenge of having this feral child that would, at night time, turn into this giant ogre beast. You managed to restrain it and stop it escaping, and Kaya used some new magic to make you all a nice place to stay in her tiny hut, which was very impressive. You spent the night in conversation, admiring the runt's new animal companion, and the night went by pretty smoothly, all things considered. So yes, the next morning, as the sun breaks and you wake everyone else up for their watches, you take a peek behind the...
Were you gonna do something before sunrise or after?
It doesn't necessarily matter, but preferably when he's a child.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you did want to check, this thing is now loose from its bonds and a child again, because it had much bigger arms to bind as a troll ogre thing, so it's now a child again, and is sat looking angrily in the middle of the cage.
I use Mage Hand to undo the rope from that I tied him to the cage with last night and bring it back.
They're loose because once it shrank into
Yeah, but
a
they
child,
might. I don't know whether they were. I probably also tied them they're probably stuck to the cage.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
So
Yeah,
I undo them from the cage and bring them back to me.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Can we possibly lure him forward with a bit of food and water?
Sure.
Yeah, you can attempt to do that. I won't make a check. It just takes, it takes a little bit of time. This thing's still, this child is still very feral, but does eventually make its way. Again, tries to lash out at you, but makes its way to the front of the cage and is now within arm's reach, eating the rations.
As it tries to lash out at me, I'm going to try and let him have the rations, but try and just grab him around the back of the neck, try and find where the brand is, and place my hand on it and try and cast him with a remove curse.
Okay. You do so. You grab a hold of it and it struggles and tries to lash out of you again. What's your armor class?
17.
17. It just manages to lash out and scratch you again on the cheek for 1 point of damage. But as you do so, you kind of just let it happen, put your hand on the telltale brand that's kind of sticking out, and you cast Remove Curse. As you do so, it kind of jerks, and you can feel the place where your hand is start to get hot with the magic you imbue. But then when the heat subsides, where the brand is, you can feel it isn't raised anymore. You don't know if it's still there or not, but you can't feel the brand anymore.
So I can't. There's no way of telling if it's actually physically gone. Then it's just not.
You can try and look like someone at the other end of the cage, or you can go around.
Can someone have a look, please?
You just wait. You're in front of it, and the brand was on the back, so you can't physically see. You just can't feel it with your hand.
I'll have a look and see if it's gone.
Okay, it's not. You have a look, and it's not gone, but it's faded like a very, very old scar. And it's just that kind of white kind of fade of a very old scar.
I've done what I can. We will have to see what happens tonight. See if any part of the child's normal nature
returns,
and see if he's too far, or maybe he's too far gone. Either way, the cage master is the safest thing, but if he doesn't revert back to the ogre state, then perhaps this is a good thing. But at least we would still need to take him back to the temple regardless. At least for a safe place, because chances are his family was slaughtered. And at least, from my perspective, if he's going to come around in an unfamiliar place, being surrounded by peace and calm, might be him some good. And I'm just going to at that point, I'm just going to just let go of the child. I'm just going to just wander off a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, the child still acts quite feral and is shaken by whatever just happened to it, and will not, stays in the middle of the cage now. It will not go anywhere near any of you. He, as you're calling it. Used to talking in monster terms.
Well, I don't know. I think we pack up, and then once we're ready to go, after having kids in space, I'll use, since everything's still sort of there, and I can use all of my thieves stuff through my mage hand. I use mage hand to check all of the supports for us to carry the cage.
Okay. Yeah, you check those, and they're still in place. Because you used trees, it was a small but living tree, so it had some give to it. For the logs, it's not snapped those or anything, and mostly fixed the bars last night, so they're absolutely fine, and it's good to go.
Okay, we can carry it again, I think.
Okay, and do you guys head on your way?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Keep moving at a reasonable pace.
Yeah, like I say, it's walking pace, but you can keep a steady pace, especially if you take turns or you just keep a steady pace with the two of you carrying the cage. It's not too much of a task, especially for the couple of the stronger members of the party. And yeah, you carry on walking along the main road. Again, you can't really get lost. You're along a trade road. You could try and find another path if you wanted. That's completely up to you guys, but you are on a main trade road if you want to just keep that path.
Do we get any dodgy looks?
You don't meet many people. There's the occasional few people. But yeah, you do get some weird looks. No one says anything because you're all very kitted out. You're not your average traveller.
Yeah.
Most people you pass are people on carts with farming equipment, or people just walking with pots and things like that. Not much. They're not adventurers like you or warriors or things, and you've got you are all not to be messed with. So whilst they might get some looks and you might get some whispers as you've passed them, because you're carrying a child, slavery, whilst for children is it's not great or frowned upon, slaves do exist, and people have unpaid labour and stuff on farms and in quarries and things like that. It's not unheard of.
Well, hopefully the cover's helping stop people from seeing that too much.
Well, if you keep it covered, then yeah, they're just you get some inquisitive looks about, more curiosity of what might be behind the cage rather than judgments on what it is you're carrying.
Which is probably safer.
Yeah, so yeah, that's fair enough. It gets to about midday. You guys have been travelling for a while, and yeah, you actually have passive perception with you now, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got your 2 tabaxi. So yeah,
18. No. Yeah, 18.
Passive is 14.
Okay. So Ness has passive perception. You're walking along, and you've
16?
passed. 16 isn't bad. 18's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 16 was your highest before that. So you get walking midday, and again you've passed people, so it's not. But you do start to hear coming from behind you slowly. But you hear the clip-clopping of similar clip-clopping of some sort of beast of burden in a cart. Not the same sound as the axe beaks from before, but you can also hear music playing, soft strumming and a low voice, a quite soft but low baritone kind of voice singing.
Somebody's coming. It's a horse on cart and somebody's singing.
Great. I'm going to throw my hood up.
Are they singing?
I suggest moving off the road if it's
sort of how... Do I recognise what they're singing?
Make a perception check for me.
21.
21. You don't recognise the song, but you recognise the instrument. It's a harp. It's not a huge one, but the handheld. Is that?
Small, yeah.
That's not a liar.
That's basically
is it?
a liar.
So basically, yeah. So it's
That's a
basically
liar.
it's a liar. And yeah, you can hear like the soft strumming of like a kind of a like a sad kind of tune melody to it. It's a good melody. Whoever they are, they're trained. It's not like someone just wrecking the instrument. They're playing it well, but it's a sad melody that they're playing.
Have we moved off to the side?
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay.
I'm gonna hide behind Mercy.
Okay. You do so, and like as you kind of are you all actively hiding, or are you just moving so it can pass?
No, I'm personally just keeping out of line of sight.
Okay.
I'm
Initial
moving
line
so
of sight.
they can pass easily.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go stand in the middle of the road.
As you do.
And the kid is covered, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. So
And then I will. Is there a place to hide?
yeah. There's similar like rocky outcroppings.
Excellent. That is a 24.
24. Yep. Once again, Ness disappears.
I'll get Chobani to sit in front of the cage, so it obviously looks like it's guarded.
Okay.
It's a large two-headed dog.
Yeah. So as you kind of wait for this thing to appear and then pass, you notice it's not a horse. It looks like a pony, more like, to be honest, like something like a large pony, but definitely not a horse. And it's just pulling a singular kind of cart, like a very small cart that basically sits one, maybe two people, and it just has empty at the back with maybe some like bags tied to it. Sitting at the front of the cart is a human or human-like male figure, dressed very kind of ostentatious but elegantly. Basically your typical bard. And they are just kind of singing this sad kind of melody in kind of like an operatic kind of voice. And they're singing along, and they kind of, it's like, whoa there, oh, hello, sir, if you wouldn't be so kind, if you could possibly, you're blocking the road, and I have places to be.
Oh, yeah, not a problem at all. But I really want to see what she was singing.
Oh, I can understand that. My songs are famous from for all across Elysium. I can understand that. I would happy. If you are also going this way, I'd be happy to sing a tune for you as we as we go. But I do have a place to be. I've had a great invite to a grand party on the Delphinian crossroads. I hope you understand. I am most likely the guest of honor.
Oh, good for you.
Oh, hello there. Oh, yes. I didn't realise I had such a large and diverse audience. Hello. Hello.
Yes, surely musicians such as that does have an audience. Well, we're heading this way, and I figure there's safety in numbers. Why not accompany us for a while? You can potentially teach our bard some new
That's
songs.
not-
Oh, you have a bard. Marvellous. Where is said
You
bard?
absolute.
Sort of like just steps out behind, and it's like,
Oh,
hello?
hello. Oh, well, why aren't you of course you're the bard. Look at you. You're so magnificent in your clothes and your face and your that hair. It's oh, sorry. Where are my manners? I am Saray.
Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, indeed it is.
Have I ever heard that name before?
Make a history check.
$17.
17. You may have heard the name. It's definitely a stage name, but you think they played like some very small time gigs in Nidas at one point whilst you were
Very young.
very young. Yeah. They and as you think, wait, that was a while ago. You look, and you can see they're not as kind of young and vivacious as they might, like the ostentatious attitude may put out. They seem to have they've got some crow's feet and some things like that. They still look very fresh faced, but there's definitely some crow's feet there. But yeah, they look young. They look young for how old they must be. And
Did I hear right that you were to the Delphinian Crossroads?
Yes, it happens as from what I've heard. I've never heard of it before, but I did get an invitation from a group that there would be a great a gathering of sorts, a symposium for the ages at the Delphinian Crossroads. As you know, Delphi, Apollo, great musician himself. I played with him once, at the yes, it was a grand gig. He called it Live with Apollo. And yes, I was one of the supporting acts, won't you know? He played well, and I think I very much complimented his style of things. He did say I was one of the more accomplished acts that evening, yes, his words, not mine. But yes, so at that crossroads, apparently there is a great party happening, and there is a few gathered, and I myself am to attend. No doubt they've heard of me, or maybe they've heard of my relationship with Apollo.
Maybe.
What about you, dear? Sorry, I'm
sure
being awfully rude. What are your names, especially yours, my similarly musically inclined friend? What is your name?
I'm Kaya.
Kaya, beautiful name for a beautiful woman, indeed. And,
Thank you.
And what is it that you play? Apart from the heartstrings of all those paths that you cross, I'm sure.
I too also play the lyre.
Oh, really? Well, that's well. I'd.
However, I am not nearly as accomplished as yourself.
Well,
given the fact that you have been given the opportunity to play with Apollo himself.
Honestly, but I'm sure you're highly accomplished. It's who you know as well as what you know. So I'm sure, given the same opportunities, you would do almost as well. Maybe we could play together whilst we're on the road.
Maybe.
Do you know tears don't simply fall? They tend to hit the ground in quite a vivacious and catastrophic motion. No? How about I'm not quite all right? No? How about the sound of no noise whatsoever?
I believe these are...
What's according to your butcher?
I can't say I've heard of that one. Although, is that I believe they may play that one off in Lagina. They have many of those witchy types there. Maybe I'll play there one day, and I'll ask around for you. Yes, no, I exclusively sing love songs at the moment. I vow to do so until... Well, I vow to do so for now. Only...
So
can I just
treating you?
Can I just quietly just stand behind Kaya, just tower over her, just looking at this guy, and I'm also going to just for the sheer fun of it, use my eyes of the grave.
Okay. Eyes of the Grave, what does that do exactly? Because I know that you've got lots of similar ones.
It lets me... It's similar to Gavril's Divine Sense.
Yeah, I just wanted to just make sure I knew which one this was.
It's specifically for undead.
So, yeah, you reach out your senses, thinking, you've been burned before. But yeah, you don't get any sense of undead from this guy. Whoever or whatever he is not possessed.
Oh, that's good. He's just a sleaze and I don't like him.
Oh, hello there. Well, you are twice the woman, but this all woman. What might your name be?
My name is not of your concern, Sugar Ray.
How do you spell that? Is that hyphenated or is that all one? Kind of. Oh, okay.
If I were you, I would probably voice your attention elsewhere.
Okay, playing hard to get. I understand. And sorry, you fellow that we met. You were quite boisterous. I bet you'd be great on the drums. If you ever need work, whether it's musically inclined or I'm always in need of a roadie. Sorry, what did you say your name was? I don't believe you did. Did you?
Oh no, it isn't. I'm Runt. This here
Sorry,
is
what?
Scales. I'm Runt.
One more time
This-
for me. You seem to have something stuck in your throat.
I said, you pontificating prick, that I am Runt, and this here is Scales.
Runt Scales. Very pleasure to meet you, sir. And how about you, my feline friend? Who might you be?
I am Nim.
Nim. Short to the point. I like it. Why play games? Why play games? Indeed. Well, if we are indeed both all heading that way, you're more than welcome to join me. If you like, I don't have much luggage. You could put your box on the cart and ride with me if you wish, and we can exchange tales of each of our exploits as we ride. Make the day much more exciting.
Exciting for who?
Well, we shall see, won't we?
No, we won't.
My dear Sugar Ray.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, while you are heading in the direction of towards Delphi, we ourselves are heading slightly further south.
South.
Opposite direction.
So that's fun. Are you heading as far as Thebes, Attica?
Our destination is currently not truly defined, but we are, as I said,
Definitely
heading
not
south.
going your way.
Well, if you are travelling this way, I am more than welcome to accompany you and keep you entertained on the road. And then when we part, we shall part ways, and maybe but stories on our lips. By all means, if any of you should like to ride with me, you are more than welcome. If not, I will gladly walk
Where is
alongside
the nearest crossroad?
I'd say I will reach it by nightfall, I believe.
No. So I'm not there. So to the DM,
okay.
how far are we to have to go with this?
Well, you're not sure, but yeah, the nearest main crossroads, you don't know if like a small town may appear on the way.
Yeah.
But the nearest main crossroads will be going up to Delphi. So whatever it is he's going towards, unless you do the thing,
We're also going towards
you are actually going that way, yes.
Bollocks.
Well, I'm not one for silences, so if we head on our way, feel free to relieve your luggage onto the back of the cart, and I shall start retuning for a duet, perhaps, with wonderful Kaya here.
Have you got room for this? I point at the cage with the cursed child in.
Except it's covered up.
Yes, that'll be fine. If you want to lift that on, good fellow, mind my bag. But yes, that should be absolutely fine.
Right, Mercy, do you mind giving me a hand here? Just try and hoist the cage into the back of his cart, and take no care of it.
Okay, you kind of go on, and you hear like a clang of strings breaking. But he seems... Wait. Nope, he has not noticed. He's busy kind of just like tuning his instrument and like, oh, no, that's not me. That's definitely the liar.
I'm going to scout ahead with Chobani.
Kaya, no, actually, Mercy. You feel a tug on like some part of your armor that would not be like intended thing, and when you look, there's a sheet of paper that's being held by a hand. It says, "You asked me to tell you when I disappeared. I'm following you. Let me know if you want me to shoot him."
I try and look around and basically try and give you a look that says, "Well, I'll do it with myself, thanks."
hand sort of does a little like, okay, and then heads back.
While he's clearly preoccupied tuning. It's just like this, like, look up to Mercy going, help!
Come on, dear. Hop aboard. You can sit with me, Kaya, dear.
I'm going to literally stand next to Kaya.
I'll be...
If she gets on, that is.
I'm very grateful that you are obviously carrying our very large box. I do feel the need that I do need to stretch my legs for a while, so...
It's alright, I'll join you.
Oh, marvellous.
Stunk.
Aren't you a big fellow? That's fine. Would you like to hear a song on the way? Of course you would. Have you heard of, has anyone seen my cock?
Runts, mad spreads all across the front bench.
Okay. I'm a bit rusty, like you say. I pretty much predominantly play love songs at the moment, but I'll give it a go. You see, some folks like a pussy, a budgie, or a tit. Some take up with a spaniel that fills the house with barking. Now I keep chickens, and I've a favourite one. He's my little cockerel, yet I don't know where he's gone. Has anyone seen my cock? My Grand Imperial Red. He's mostly pink, with a little bit of blue and some purple on his head. He stands straight up in the morning, and he gives my wife a shock. Has anybody seen my cock? Now when...
I do believe so. You'll find it spraying out to your forehead.
God. Yeah, I played that. I actually played that one in Thebes, and I tell you, Dionysus got quite the tickle out of it.
Well, it's a good thing that someone got a tickle out of your cock.
How much do I believe any of which he's said?
Make an insight check.
Let's bet this guy's in just like a cover band that plays taverns occasionally.
22.
22.
Yeah.
You've met Bards, and he seems like every single one. Honestly, you know. Again, you hadn't heard of him outside of Nidas. You imagine would have heard of him more, but there is something off about him. Like there's something you can't
just
quite
not
put
right.
You can't quite put your finger on it. He seems harmless. Like you don't think it's something you need to be worried about or scared of. But there's something else. There's just something not quite there, like behind the eyes.
Does he have the same eyes as Scales?
No. He has... I don't think anybody has the same eyes as Scales, and he can't lick them like Scales can.
Would you excuse me for just 1 second? I'm just going to check our luggage. I lean over into the back. I start like going through it repetitiously.
Fair. There's just like clothes, costumes, broken instrument now, like a penny whistle, what looks like a broken, like what was a lute before you dumped the cage on it. A few handmade brochures with like his face drawn on it and things like that.
I draw a mustache on one of the faces.
He's busy talking. Hang on. Make a stealth check for me.
Well, my stealth ain't great, I can tell you that much. +1. That will be a 13.
It's still better than his flat 10 through his perception.
Oh.
You lean over and it's like, oh yes, there's a few pamphlets in it. Feel free to take one, show it to your friends. I'll even sign it for you if you want. And then he goes right back to singing his tunes and things like that. This goes on for like maybe half a day, maybe 30 years. You don't really know at this point. Like, you're pretty sure Mercy's ears...
Do I feel my ears bleeding?
I was about to say you're pretty sure Mercy's ears and nose are bleeding at this point. Not once has he actually got to asked you to play. Like, he keeps offering to play with you, Kaya, but then he never gives you a chance to actually join in.
At some point, I'm gonna sort of like... When was the last time you were in Nidus?
Oh, Nidus. Oh, wow. Well, I'm from there, sort of from there. It's where I'd probably call home if one such as myself could call anywhere home, as what you know. We don't really do. We are in high demand all across the land. Oh, that rhymed. Hang on, run. If you still have that pencil, write that down for me, dear. Thank you. But yes, I'd say if I'm from anywhere, it would be Nidus. But I haven't been there for a few years now. For quite a few years, yes. It's been a hot second. I'm sure I'm missed.
I'm sure you are. So if you haven't been home for a while,
Yes.
where have you been?
Oh, where haven't I been? Like I say, I have been to Delphi, performed with the Apollo. I've been to Thebes. I made my way over to Corinth at one point. Didn't make it all the way. Ended up on this mad trip with this weird fellow. He'd lost, sense of direction was horrible. What was his name? Theseus? Odysseus? Something. A terrible sense of direction. He ended up leaving me behind on an island. Very rude. I'm sure he's still looking for me to this day. He's worried sick, I'm sure. But yes, I've been... You throw a pebble at a map, I'm sure I've probably been there and performed.
Given the fact that he said that he's been in Delphi, I hadn't heard anything of him in Delphi.
Nope.
This particular thing that he's going to, will I have ever heard anything about that?
Make a history check.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Yes.
No. He did say it's kind of the first one of the year. First one that he's heard of as well. And before him, you hadn't heard of it either.
Who did you say that you'd been invited by?
Well, I'm not sure. It was delivered by one of Hermes' fellows, actually. Just a grand, quite nice paper. I may have it somewhere. Right, dear fellow, if you could just move over from those pamphlets for me. Then he pulls out just like this note on like a roll of parchment. It was like quite nice filigree, like gold filigree border. Do you know the classic Greek kind of geometric border?
Yeah.
And it says, Surae the Bard, you are hereby invited to the first of many, the Grand Delphian Crossroads Symposium. Performers, politicians, dignitaries, all those who matter are invited, and we want you there to perform to them all. Your legend is spread far and wide, and we'd be honoured to have you as our guest.
Then they are surely going to be honoured to have you there, and I'll pass it back to him.
Yes, I'm sure they will, and if our paths stay together for long enough, then I'm sure I could have a +4, 5 if you count the little pooch. oh my. Yes. Sorry, dear, my feline friend. Were you aware that your dog has 2 heads? You've been travelling together for about 4 hours. By the way, it's the first he's noticed.
Both heads look at him very strangely, and then we wander back off again. Yes, it's normal.
Good, just checking. It's, not everyone's as astute as I am. I just wanted to make sure you were in the know. It's very cute. I like it. But yes, how about you, my dear? Where have you performed?
I spent most of my formative years performing in Delphi.
Delphi? Oh.
I mean,
It's good place to perform. Home or with the bards, some would say. Not Naidas,
Yeah,
and,
it's-
Delphi, even Hermes, as you may know, produced quite a good few bards in his time.
Yes. I did most of my training in Delphi, so
Well, then you must be quite a performer.
when I need to be, yes. As I'm sure are you.
What can I say again? The word and experience speaks for itself. But again, I tell you, if you were to join me tonight, if our paths stay intertwined for that long, I would be honoured if you would be possibly an opening act for myself tonight. I don't know what the grandeur of the performance, but if that would be...
Should our paths continue to remain entwined, then I would be honoured. But as I say, our journey leads us south.
Okay, well, fingers crossed that you get the opportunity, eh? Right, another song, I think, and he just breaks out into another horrible number. Yeah. Nighttime starts to fall. Like, the sun does start to go down. You guys don't know what's going to happen with the child. He's currently on the back of a cart with...
I'm staying close by.
Okay. Are you doing anything else to prepare, or are you just kind of all staying close, or...
I'm going to be sort of like staying relatively close to Mercy. What I did last night, I'm loath to do again tonight because of... She sort of like subtly points in the direction of Sleazeball.
Well, it's a risk we're going to have to take, but, maybe one can accidentally knock him out and he'll fall asleep. I don't tell you that, but...
Okay,
There's something not right about him.
In what way?
He's a very typical of someone that's had similar training to me, but I only recall passing references to him when I was at home in Nidus. Never heard of him in Delphi. Never heard of him anywhere else.
So, like his instrument, he's a liar.
He potentially believes it to be true, but it's definitely not.
Are bards... Can bards be...
We are prone to exaggerate. But...
Well, he seems to be his own personal fluffer, that's for sure.
So we are prone to exaggerate, but there are... For someone that has apparently played with Apollo in Delphi, that would be spoken about and things would be referenced. There's none of that. Not that I recall.
Well...
It's not long ago that I left Delphi.
Well, he's certainly not possessed, or he's not speaking through the voice, he's not speaking with the voice of somebody else. He's had his memory altered, or he's just the world's cleverest bullshitter?
Given what we've experienced and, that little idiot, one that sold runt scales, I'm currently thinking it's just like...
Oh, you mean Philip Dickhead, yes.
Yes. I'm currently just thinking that we're just having a string of bad luck coming across. Yeah.
While you're having this conversation, he's just singing like an awful, in tune, just awful rendition of Good Old Goblin Girls.
I thought it might have been my Greek yogurt drink brings all the non-discriminate genders to the yard.
I
Give
head
him
back.
time, I'm sure he'll get to that.
Okay, so yeah, night does officially fall, and you guys are all kind of not trying to seem that way, but again, he's not very, observant, but you try not to give away that you are all pretty nervous as to what might happen next. Then you wait, kind of with held breath, and you don't hear any rumbling or creaking of the cage or any growling of any sort.
I think Kai's going to be the only one in earshot to hear me breathe a huge sigh of relief.
When I hear that, that's good, right? That's good.
It's progress. Whether it's a permanent fix, I don't know. But again, like I said, Attica's the place to go if we're going to keep him safe for the foreseeable future. And maybe they can at least, the ones more powerful than I can at least confirm that the curse has been either broken or at least halted.
Fingers crossed.
But we need to, yes, we need to make way.
Okay. As you're kind of having this hushed conversation, Saray just kind of bursts out with, and here we are, look, Hazard, my friend, you can join us after all. Look! And you look off in the distance and you can just see, like, lots and lots of pinpricks of light and, like, flickering torchlights. And you can see you're just at the top of you've just crested the top of a small hill, and you can see down into, like, not a complete valley, because the landscape is still pretty kind of flat, but you can see there is this huge camp of, like, small tents and awnings, and there's music playing, and you can hear laughter and smell food, and in the distance you can see what looks like a central podium in front, like, where all the tents and places have kind of congregated around. It looks like you'll get to be my opening act after all, my sensual seductress.
Don't we need to keep travelling?
Yes.
We probably should.
I'm sure you don't want to miss this. This is the first of its kind. You go off in the morning. It's dangerous to go out on the night on its own, and then you can be on your way south, and I can head north, and we can bid each other farewell. But what a grand night we could have had in between. But you don't want to miss your friend Kaya performing. I'm sure you're her friends, her comrade. You'd want to support her in such an endeavour. This could be her big break.
That's her choice. That's her choice to make, not anybody else's. Certainly not yours.
Of course, I agree. Well put. Sugar Ray. Well, I don't know about you all, but while you're deciding whether you're staying or not, I'm going to get a drink to loosen, lubricate the old, the best instrument of them all. Onward, chapsy! It keeps on moving into the festival again. As you get in, it's louder. You can hear, like, pipes and instruments, and you can see it is one thing you notice. There's lots of people around. There's some fire jugglers. There's some, like, you see the odd kind of person that's kind of maybe an elf in quite grand clothing. Maybe the odd, like, again, tiefling with, like, adorned with many rings and jewelry and things like that. One thing you notice that predominantly everyone in this camp is halfling.
I think we should make sure that we don't take the child in here.
I think we should get the hell out of there as quickly as possible.
I think I'm going to have to make sure that I don't step on it.
I've never known you to care about trampling over things, dear. Let's just not worry about such things now.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, most of the time they don't. They deserve it.
If we are staying here, we need to be at the edge of this. It's too noisy and too bright.
Are we staying? Is it night time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we're staying.
I can keep travelling.
now that he's gone, I'll show back up.
Yep. So you now have a Nez with you as well. He's you're slightly behind me. He's just making his way into the town post haste, as he'd probably say. He would say.
Yeah, he's been oblivious enough that I show up when it's like just gone.
Yeah.
He's not gonna look back.
No.
Well,
It's your call, dear.
no, in this instance, it really isn't, because at the end of the day, we need to get that child as
Yes,
far
we know.
away from here.
Yes, we know. But there's something weird about him, and
Now that we've arrived here, does there any? He's about the same. Like, how tall was he again?
He's maybe a little bit shorter than Mercy.
so he's quite tall, though.
Tall, yeah, but not like unnaturally tall. Just quite a lithe fellow.
So it's not two halflings put together.
Yeah, he's not two halflings in a trench coat.
Anyone check that?
He's 3 kobolds in chainmail.
Nice.
And the majority of everything that we're surrounded by is halflings. Yeah?
Yes. Like, you see the odd people that are looking around seem quite wonderstruck. Like they've just arrived and seen all this as well, similarly to you guys, maybe with not as much perturbed kind of expressions. But predominantly, the people that seem to have put this camp together and this like festival or event seem to all be halflings.
If we are staying, we want to make certain we are on the outside of the camp, as far away from everything as possible.
Do we want to make sure that this is not something weird like everything else we've encountered?
Yes. How long until what is technically opening act?
You don't know. The only person you could have asked is almost in town. Like, almost in...
With the kid?
Yeah. He probably forgot it was there. Or just assumed you were joining him. But he's pretty much at the festival now, with the cage on the back of his cart.
We need the cage off the cart.
Yeah.
Well, we can what? It depends. It depends on how far we can get through the night before we become too exhausted to travel.
Yeah. If I can always temporarily do this if it means that it gives you the opportunity to get out of here with the kid, and I will catch you up after.
I am not leaving you alone with him. Sorry.
One of us would need to stay.
That. And I'll stay.
We either all go or we all
you to
stay,
carry
and we put the child out of danger for now.
Where can we put the child that would actually be out of danger?
Can I scout around for somewhere that's on the edge of this that would be a suitable camping hiding area?
Yeah, like they've all kind of congregated. You see at the further end from you, like towards the northern side, so more towards the Delphi road. They've got some like caravans, like tarpauled carriages where maybe some of them sleep or they pack away all the stuff. But there's plenty of places like on the outskirts that you could park up and do your thing. Once you've got the cage back.
Yeah, we need to get the cage regardless, so whatever we end up doing...
Right.
We've got to at least get that cage.
What's the plan, guys?
Hunt, come on.
We're staying.
We could always steal the wagon, just saying.
That too.
But we have to wait until he leaves the wagon to steal it.
Also true.
Not necessarily.
Or
at least
yeah.
wait until he gets off.
Well, I mean, he seems to want to get off a great deal.
Right, so what's the plan?
Okay. We're going to go and get...
Right. We're going to make sure the cage is safe. If we can move it somewhere out of reach and prying eyes of other people, and then stay for just long enough to find out this is a...
I'm going... Runt, come with me. I'm sort of going to drag Runt along. heading to go in to where he's gone. Try and catch him up.
Okay. As you go to catch him up, whether some of you follow or not, you two make your way close to there. And as you get there, you see he's Saray has kind of grabbed his loot, and he kind of he parks up directly next to the podium in the center of the clearing. And he hops straight from his carriage to the top of the podium. He's like, "Friends, Elysians, countrymen, lend me your faces. It is finally the time you've all been waiting for, your guest of honor, that marvelous performer, the baritone, the soothing sounds,
Is he on top of... What is he on top of?
the podium.
He's on the podium.
Oh, okay, but not on the crate.
No, the literal son of Aphrodite, Saray the Magnificent." And he kind of bows, and as he does so, these huge, fluffy, white, angelic wings sprout from his back, and he plays a single chord. And we'll end it there. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a more eclectic one than usual, but I've enjoyed it. Yeah, a lot's happened. I'm not looking forward to next week when I have to recap all this at the beginning of the episode. Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Again, thank you for all the bits and the follows and the shares and everything else and keeping engaged. We will all see you in some form or another next week. Don't forget, Friday is our other real-time on-the-table play, so tune into that if you can. Other than that, we will see you next week, and remember that the gods are watching.